What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. We've got a great video for you guys today. We're going to go over the 10 tips for new Uber Eats drivers, everything you need to know to make more money as quickly as you possibly can. Before we jump in this video, we wanted to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, Elite Hustle University. Our listeners can get 1 month free on their platform where they teach you how to make money online. Make your first million on any digital business. They have a lot of different course material as well as a private Discord group where you can ask questions. I think this is something we should all look into. It's no secret that we're in the digital era, and as things advance, knowing how to do something online is vitally important. So check out the link in the description, use code RIDESHAREHUB, and you get 1 month free to explore all that content. Check it out. Alrighty. So I think the number one thing for Uber Eats drivers, especially new drivers, is understanding your write-offs, what you can and can't write off. I am by no means a tax advisor or accountant, but the things that I've done in the past for me personally was writing off some car-related expenses. You do have to be careful with those, really research which ones you can and can't do. And I think the biggest one that people miss out on is a portion of your phone expenses can be written off. And technically, if you buy a second phone specifically for your gig economy work, you can usually get most of the bill in that case, which I think is really important. And then if you're getting things like Spotify or stuff that makes your job or life easier, you can wrap those in as well. So that's the first thing you should be looking into, is what expenses you can write off, and taking advantage of as many as you can. That's probably the biggest mistake that a lot of new drivers make, is in their first year, they're not really looking into what they can be writing off day in and day out. Next, the next most important thing is delivering at the right times. The times that always worked the best for me was generally 6 to 9 a.m., 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and then 5 to 9 p.m., and then generally on weekends, 10 p.m. and on works very, very well. I don't recommend 10 p.m. and on past or during weekdays, because not many people are staying up late and ordering food, but on the weekends you can get some really good tips delivering on those later times. So obviously if you're willing to work nights, that's going to be great. I would go probably no more than 2 or 3 a.m. on a weekend. Anything past that and people are even in their drunkest states are starting to go to bed. Another thing is make sure you wait for deliveries in an area with multiple restaurants. A lot of people will sit right by just one. The problem with this is a lot of times the app is still going to ping someone who's like 3 miles out. So if you're in an area that's got multiple restaurants, it's much more likely that you're going to actually get a delivery. Next thing is skip bad deliveries. This is primarily fast food. I've never really had a good experience with fast food. It's generally just people that don't tip that much, if at all. So my rule of thumb is just to skip the fast food deliveries. On that same note, the next tip is don't worry about your acceptance rate. Now this is relative. You obviously don't want to let it get too low, but you shouldn't be afraid to cancel rides or cancel deliveries, especially the fast food ones. A lot of them in college areas aren't worth it. Anything that looks cheap. My rule of thumb, and that actually goes into the next tip, is that I always go for orders that are above $7. Ideally above like 15, but obviously you can't get too picky. But anything below 7, I'm generally going to cancel on. Now our next one is if you're not receiving orders, so if you found you've just been sitting around, a lot of times what happens is if you drive through an area with bad cell service, it'll glitch out your app. So I make it a habit to frequently refresh my app, especially if it's been 5 to 10 minutes since I've gotten a delivery. I'm going to always restart the app, and usually something that comes in a little bit quicker. Next biggest tip, and this is a huge newbie mistake, is not keeping your hot and cold items separate. Probably the easiest way to not get tips is delivering cold soup or melted ice cream. So make sure you have insulated bags for both scenarios, especially because a lot of orders will have hot and cold items. It's not that uncommon. So make sure you have separate insulated bags. There's definitely some that you can buy online that are, very much worthwhile, a good investment, a write-off. Why not? It's going to make your job better and get you more tips, which is the name of the game here. Another thing I like to do is keep a Sharpie on hand. A lot of times Usually the restaurant will remember to put the receipt on the bag, but sometimes they don't. So if you've got multiple orders, it really helps to know like who it's going to. So if by chance you don't have a receipt, it's good to have a Sharpie and a notepad, and you can put a note on for Carol, and then you know which bag is going to which. In most cases, you probably won't have enough orders like in the car at once to where it's really going to make a difference. Usually it's 1 to 2 at a time, pretty easy to remember, but you'd be shocked. There's times where they can add up, and making sure you have a fail-safe just in case they forget to put that receipt on there is definitely important. The next thing for me is I like to send updates, and I keep little notes in my phone. Generally what I'm doing is, hey, I just got to the restaurant. All right, I'm en route to your house. And then if I have something for if I hit traffic or if the restaurant's behind, that way I can just copy and paste it to them. I think that's a great way to get more tips, because you're just kind of giving them some updates. That way they're not wondering if maybe you're that one driver that's just going to not show up and go eat their food. So giving them that sense of mind and peace is a good idea, just because then they'll know what is going on with their food, and that's going to more than likely get you a better tip. And the last one on my list is dress presentable. Doesn't have to be professional. Obviously, a perk of the job is getting to be a little more comfortable, but just have some decency. You know, don't go out wearing Cheetos sweatpants and like a dirty stained t-shirt or something. Like, the best idea I think is just jeans, and ideally you know, just a somewhat decent looking shirt. Like I said, you don't have to be wearing a button up or anything crazy, but just somewhat presentable, and it's going to make a lot of difference. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Check out Elite Hustle University in the description below. I think you guys will really enjoy it, and it's honestly free content, guys. If you use our code RideshareHub, definitely worth looking into. Stay safe out there, and stay tuned for more updates.